What is going on, everybody?
What's going
Welcome
on?
into another Monday night live stream here on GG Sports Podcast. It's a beautiful Monday here in the state of Minnesota. How are things over in the Carolinas?
It was kind of a gloomy day today, but not bad. Not too hot. Definitely not too cold. Let's do some shout outs here. I see Too Evil in here right away, so we can call him JJ Cutler now. People tripping over practice, not a game, practice. And Sarah with the hashtag Skol. Speaking of JJ, the future Vikings franchise quarterback, not JJ Cutler. What's going on, Too Evil? We are giving away the Michigan JJ McCarthy Bowman U first, or was it first Bowman U? First Bowman U. That's what it is. First Bowman U. Again, yet there's not going to be any Vikings versions of this cards yet. Probably not until going into next season. So we'll have someone that comes around. But this is still considered a rookie card, and obviously for Michigan, JJ McCarthy, the future. It's just, let's get right in here, I guess, with JJ McCarthy stuff. Yeah, I don't know. His practice wasn't too bad. The one thing I was asking Casey about this because I was like, I thought they had multiple practices. Not your hats. Not this time, too. We're getting closer. But yeah, it was supposed to be like it's a whole weekend of practices and stuff, but not a single clip came out ever since that Friday night practice. Nothing on Minnesota Vikings.com. Nothing. So I'm like, do we just have one practice, or
maybe everybody sucked and they didn't want to put tape out?
They didn't want to put any tape out.
Well, I hope maybe McCarthy didn't practice so well. I don't know.
No, we know that ain't true. The JJ McCarthy stuff, obviously extremely overblown. That one, it was like a stupid little pass to
coach was standing in the wrong spot. Let's be real here. He didn't know the route. The coach didn't know the route.
Plus, they're just throwing the ball around. That wasn't even like a drop back or anything. They're just fucking around pretty much. At least that's what I'm taking it as. But he did throw that dime. I forgot who that was too, but he threw that dime. That was like 35. It looked like it was like, based on how he threw it, looked like he threw like a 10 or 15 yard pass, but it was just a flick of a wrist, 35 yards. Perfectly over the top of his receiver. It was a nice one there. So we got something nice out of there. And then of course,
you got the press conference stuff. You got to hear how it's going for him. He said that he had a bet with the defense that if he threw 3 incompletions that hit the ground, he'd have to run gassers, which he said that you guys saw me running out there. So he's already making bets, being confident out there, thinking he can do whatever, thinking he can do it all. But
yeah, and then
it's good to see. It's good to see him with some camaraderie with the teammates. Obviously, we saw that a group of players went to the debacle at the Target Center last night. So
yeah. we might touch on.
We're getting out and about together.
We might touch a little bit on the Wolves later on in this, just because I don't know.
But the nice thing is, we know that at max with JJ McCarthy, once the deal is signed, it's going to be about $24 million over 4 years, and not almost like 10 times that.
Yeah. We'll get into that.
I don't know who out there is doing that to a 30-year-old future or previous number 1 overall pick that was traded from his original team, but it is what it is.
We'll get into that a little bit later. Because I wanted to tap back into this JJ McCarthy stuff real quick, because there's a couple things I really like seeing. Him coming in, what it sounds like he came in kind of, I don't know, maybe you could say overly confident, which I like coming from your quarterback. So he came in, was talking some smack with the defensive backs and all that stuff, and then they made the bet. He ended up losing. He ended up running those gassers. But you got to love that it's first practice and he comes in and he's already kind of like, hey, I'm going to throw on you guys today, things like that. So you got to love that out of the kid. Obviously, at the end of practice during his press conference, he mentioned that it felt like it didn't feel like his first day or whatever, or what, I forgot what the exact quote was. Was that what it was?
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. That didn't really feel like his first day. And you got to love that. And that's kind of how it felt like with KOC when he went on the podium and mentioned that, that it's like he was the first one there and like all these things. And he's, was impressed by him and his just how he came in ready to practice and everything, like all that kind of stuff. And I want to bring that up because another quarterback didn't really get as high praise from his coach, and that is Drake May with Jarod Mayo, right? With Mayo coming and saying that there's a lot of things that need to be worked on with Drake May.
Well, people knew that. People kind of knew he was going to be a project coming into it, but
right. But he wasn't. So I mean, a third overall pick, unfortunately. And then obviously the video that's been kind of went viral with him, his throwing, or what would that be called? Not his throwing speed, but his release speed compared to Jaden Daniels, where Jaden Daniels had the ball like halfway down the field before Drake May even let go of the ball. Did you see that one?
I didn't know, but I mean, but I think that was one of the things they were talking about with him is like he's got to get the release quicker because he does kind of have a bigger, slower looping type release.
Oh, dude,
I mean, it's not Tim Tebow by any means.
No,
but
but that's reality. Like the reality is we're always going to be tied to Drake May because reality is Kevin O'Connell. Drake May was his guy. JJ McCarthy is always going to be is always going to be number 2. He's always the number 2 option between Drake May and JJ McCarthy, which is fair to say. I mean, a lot of people probably looked at Drake May that way, but it's always going to be. I mean, he's always if there's anybody in this class that JJ McCarthy, as far as Viking fans, is going to be compared to, it's going to be Drake May and his success over there. So, I mean, I would give JJ McCarthy.
Not setting him up. They're not setting him up for a lot of success, unfortunately.
No, not really.
Unfortunately for him, very fortunate for us.
JJ Cousins. Vikings better sign JJ before he gets any more expensive. Dude, I know. We need to figure out that Justin Jefferson contract.
Yeah. At this point,
what's up, Dan?
What's going on, Dan? If it's not done by the time that they get to OTAs or whatever, if JJ doesn't show up, it's not going to be till training camp. That's kind of my feeling. I get the feeling it's going to be probably in July when he.
I know people are starting to scare us, bro. People are starting to say like, I don't know, like maybe you should worry a little bit. Because I don't know, it feels like it shouldn't. It just doesn't make sense why they haven't figured it out yet. Like,
well, I mean, I don't know. A lot of times they do wait till it ramps up to officially when you got contact drills starting. Who knows? Maybe JJ's like, I'm just gonna take the summer off anyway. He doesn't. I mean, doesn't need to be at OTAs. I think they have I think they have like 1 or 2 mandatory. I think they have a mandatory minicamp at some point this offseason. But I don't know. I wouldn't get too concerned until you start hearing a bunch of stuff come through the media about it. Until then,
I'm literally not.
Is what it is.
I'm not going to worry too much until the season starts and he's not signed again.
Either that, but that's the thing. But if he starts a season without being signed, we're going to be hearing about it in the media before that even gets to the point. So until you really start hearing about it from the media, it ain't going to be that big of a deal. We're going to be just fine.
Again, everybody in here, we're giving away the JJ McCarthy Bowman first rookie card, Michigan. Eventually he'll be on the Viking. He'll get the Viking ones out. They're not out yet, but we're going to give away JJ McCarthy rookie cards anyway. So get the hashtag Skol in the comments, like the video, and then subscribe if you haven't already to win this card given away at the end of the show. Hey, what's going on, Paul? What's going on, Paul? Bob Sweet, JJ. What up, Dan? Trade JJ's hold. So I'm not ready to trade JJ. Like
it's not a holdup. He didn't show up to OTAs last year either.
It'll be interesting. But I think as far as me getting worried, if we go into the season and nothing's done yet, I'd be a little bit worried. But the reality is even, if he finishes it out, we can franchise tag him, which I know would probably not be good.
It wouldn't get to that.
It would never get to that. We'd probably trade him before it even, because obviously then you got an upset wide receiver and JJ. I mean, it's not Stephon Diggs, JJ.
Right.
He's a I think Stephon Diggs is a good guy, but you know what I'm saying. He's not as selfish.
Because it would be beneficial for them to trade Justin Jefferson before the season starts, if that's what they're going to do. Because if you let him get through this year, you're not going to get much for draft pick compensation. This year, you probably
would. What up, Big Rail and Dad?
But yeah, until like you said, if we get to the season, he's not signed. At that point, if he's not, and there actually is a gripe between the two, and they can't come to an agreement, I think he would be traded by then. I wouldn't be too concerned about it until you start hearing about it through the media. Till that happens, kind of is what it is.
How about
nobody will beat Christian Ponder.
Yeah, I'm not out on scene yet. I give him, this is his last chance. Coming off that season-ending injury, there's a small possibility that was part of the reason why they didn't want to put him on the field so much, at least to a certain extent. I think he's going to have all the opportunity And we'll find out in training camp. And maybe not. Maybe he gets cut and then I'm wrong here. But hey, I give every receiver, especially first rounders, 3 years. Give them 3 years and then see what they have. Same with Andrew Booth. I'm not out on Andrew Booth yet. I thought we saw some solid games out of him. But
there's a lot of competition back there now, though.
I've seen enough
between corners and safeties. There's going to be a lot of competition back there, so it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough for both of them to make the roster. Honestly, like, is there? Yeah. I think there's a. I mean, obviously a non-zero chance, but I would say at least a double-digit % chance that neither of them make the roster starting next season.
For real with Booth?
Yeah, I think there is a chance that neither of them make the roster next year.
You want to throw away?
I don't think it's a non-zero. I think it's at least 10% chance that neither of them make the roster.
Oh, okay.
I'm not saying I'm saying just non.
What do you think is more likely? Neither of them making or both of them making the 53?
What's more likely? Neither of them or both of them?
Yeah.
Neither.
Yep. I'm gonna say both of them.
Well, because there's so much competition back there right now in safety. I mean, I get safety with Theo Jackson coming in, and then obviously with Ward being drafted last year. I don't know.
Yeah, it's a tough one. The thing is with Andrew Booth, man, we saw some solid tape out of him at the end of the year, and obviously we know what he's supposed to be.
Right.
So I don't know. I'm not out on him. We knew all the hype with him as a rookie. Obviously, really disappointed that year, but because the thing is you bring in Kyrie Jackson, you got McGothern and things like that. But I mean, McGothern was undrafted. Obviously, it'd be nice if he comes in and he's an Ivan Pace type of guy, but that's very rare to happen. And we already have another guy like that in Gabriel Murphy. So yeah, so I don't know. It'll be interesting to see, but I would not be surprised if Andrew Booth, if we kind of see a little bump from him. I don't know. I'm not out on them guys yet, I guess. We were high on Andrew Booth. We didn't really know much about Lewis Seen before then.
Yeah.
But that's why I don't know. He got better than his rookie year, so that's a good sign at least. Or Williamson. Yeah, Williamson was bad. The thing with Williamson is it's like the perfect example of why you don't trade Justin Jefferson, because everybody thinks, and I've heard it from this chat. I've heard it from people in this chat right now, actually, thinking that we can trade JJ and then just use one of the first round pick to go grab a different wide receiver. And that's exactly what we did with Randy Moss and use that first round pick to grab Troy Williamson, who ended up being the biggest bust in Vikings history.
Though in the last how many years, though, just think of all the first round wide receiver hits that there've been. Wide receiver, it's such a pass happy league now that wide receivers are getting pumped. I mean, they're obviously highly drafted, highly paid. So, right. I mean, I think it's a better chance than back then that you'll find a guy who potentially could replicate a Justin Jefferson.
Yeah,
but again,
these last years,
when you have a guy like Justin Jefferson in your hands, that you've seen what he can do, and even on a season where quarterback play wasn't great and he was injured, and he still finds a way to get 1,000 yards as compared to what might be somewhere else. You take what you have, and since you're not paying your quarterback, you pay him. Like it's to me, it's a no-brainer. Like kind of like Big Raylan Dad says there, like no trading Justin Jefferson.
He's the best. He's generational, and I mean he's the best wide receiver in the league. You got a young quarterback on a rookie contract. Actually, this is a good segue. We got a quarterback on a rookie contract. So I know people like, why would you put all your money into a wide receiver, whatever? If you got a quarterback on a rookie contract, it gives you that 5-year window to pay stars. That's what's so good about it is you're able to get some of the best players in the league on this team and pay them for it because your quarterback isn't taking up so much of your salary cap, which brings us to another team who did pay a lot of their stars. Let's see.
Wide receiver and their quarterback
and their offensive tackle.
Well, so
they paid big money.
We're going to be in the same boat, right? We'll have our wide receiver under contract for a lot of money.
What up, Wiz Niz? Welcome in.
And we'll have our tackle under contract for a lot of money, but we're not going to have our quarterback. And like you said, that's your window right there, where the Lions are putting themselves basically in win now mode, and they have to draft really, really well on the defensive side of the ball, which honestly they have. Like you got to give them credit for that. But right. they're penciling themselves into that scenario where right now it's like we're not going to be paying JJ that much, or JJ McCarthy, which yes is why you can pay Justin Jefferson and why you can pay Christian Darrisaw, and then hopefully with these value free agents and draft picks, Brian Flores on the defensive side of the ball, can work them up to where they need to be, to where your offense is at least passable. Or your defense is, while JJ McCarthy gets worked into the offense, and you're able to pay people around him, like your tackle, wide receiver, and tight end in TJ Hawkinson. So yeah, absolutely. To me, like, it's a perfect, which was the big reason why everybody was so high on us drafting a quarterback, because you have a perfect scenario for him to just go out and play football with. So,
yep, exactly.
yeah.
And here,
And then, I mean, yeah, people think, well, you don't want to spend all your cap on this guy. You can't afford anything else. Then you end up like the Twins, where you're not spending any of your money.
What up, Gary, my guy?
And you feel like and you feel like the ownership doesn't actually care. So there's a plan in place. It all revolves around Justin Jefferson being here. It is. But
the Lions are taking, the plan that our original plan with Kirk Cousins, they're kind of taking it head on right now. And I guess I want to give exact details here. With Jared Goff signing a 4-year, $212 million. I believe it was around like 170 or 176 guaranteed for the next 4 years. That comes down to $52 million a year, plus, I mean, 52 a year, but that's like 42 to 43 guaranteed on average, as much as Jared Goff is going to make. And he is a guy that, if there's another player in this league, maybe I would say Jared Goff maybe has a little bit more of that winningness to him compared to Kirk Cousins, though I would say Kirk Cousins has a better arm than Jared Goff. But if there's a player that kind of like other than him being a first overall pick, kind of reminds me of like a Kirk Cousins type of player, and that move for Jared Goff just feels like a very Kirk Cousins type of thing. And you pay a guy he's never going to be a top 10 quarterback in the NFL.
Right.
And you're paying him as the second highest quarterback right now. And I mean, maybe I know you do have Hendon Hooker, and I know we've liked Hendon Hooker. So maybe that means, all right, Hendon Hooker isn't that guy, or you're like, okay, we can sit on Hendon Hooker. But at the same time, you paid him 170. So, I mean, just think Kirk Cousins getting paid for $45 million a year and not all guaranteed. And this dude's getting 42, 43 completely guaranteed for the next 4 years. I mean, yeah, he'll actually be playing, where Kirk Cousins, could end up getting his job taken. But I mean, that's a different scenario right there, I guess. But man, I was surprised that they committed that hard. I guess, I don't know. Jared Goff has surprised me the last couple of years, but
I was thinking he would have gotten a Kirk Cousins like deal, like somewhere from 40 to 45 million per year, with the most of the guarantees being within the first couple, and basically kind of a toilet paper contract after that. But yeah, the fact that they're committing that much time and money to him, that's like, you are legitimately going all in. Like you said, like, it is the Kirk Cousins effect. Like, well, he played well, we're winning with him, we got to pay him. Kind of like the same thing with the Giants and Daniel Jones. Like, oh, we had a really good season. Mm-hmm. And it's the question of, we think we could do better, but there's a very good chance that if we let him go, we could do worse. And then we're not going to hit on the fact that our team we have all these offensive stars and our defense is growing, and we're going to have a bad quarterback in there. We don't want to take that risk. So we signed Jared Goff, because now there's just like the Vikings were back when we extended Kirk Cousins after back in the past, or after we made the NFC Championship game and signed Kirk Cousins. Mm-hmm. Initially, it's that feeling of, well, now there's pressure to win. Right. So we have to bring him back because he knows the offense and he led us there. So if we let him go and someone else comes in and it's not going well, then we look dumb, like we're not capitalizing on what was a really good season. So it's one of those things where,
I don't blame him. It's tough.
10 years down, 5 to 10 years from down the road, the Lions fans might be sitting there thinking like, damn, that 2023 season really killed us, because now we're stuck with Jared Goff for another, like, we got stuck with Jared Goff for 4 years, and we wasted the prime of all of our players, and now we're scrambling, and just right where the Vikings are, you're kind of in cap hell and trying to work your way out of it. So we'll see. They definitely painted themselves into a 4-year window where they need to compete. So if they come out this year and do kind of what we did back in 2018, miss the playoffs, or it's going to be really disappointing, especially with all the money you're pumping into it. So they're definitely putting themselves in a spot now where it's like, you're not underdogs anymore, and now you need to go win. So yeah, it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see how one season is success, and now it's turning around the entire way they're building their franchise. So
yeah, the Lions, bro. The Lions. I never thought they usually pump all their money into quarterback like Matt Stafford, but the rest of the team around him sucks. So I guess that is a little bit better this time around.
53 million a year.
53. That's crazy for Jared Goff. You're talking about he's officially the second highest paid quarterback in the NFL, and he's probably, the 15th best quarterback, maybe, right? So I don't know. That's one thing when you look at Kwesi, like you gotta really, really respect everything Kwesi has done. Honestly, like looking back now, obviously the first two drafts, yes, not the greatest. First drafts, but I mean, getting Jordan Addison, I'm telling everybody.
Oh well, he didn't actually draft him. He fell into his lap.
He's gonna be an absolute stud. Like we did not see the best of him in his rookie year at all. And plus, it looks like he gained like 10 pounds of muscle this offseason. So that's gonna be really interesting, I think. But just what he's done with this cap situation, everything he's done with look at our team now. Like now you went and used your money. You let go of Danielle Hunter. You let go of Kirk Cousins. You end up getting a replacement in Dallas Turner. You get Grenard and Van Ginkel for less money than it would have cost for Danielle Hunter. About the same with both of them combined. But I mean, you really made this defense really solid. Obviously, a couple holes, specifically defensive tackle. But then again, I mean, now you're sitting here and you can see what their vision was this entire time, which was to really get a quarterback on a rookie contract, and you're setting him up for the next 5 years of his rookie deal, going into this first offseason of having him with $100 million that we'll be able to spend on other free agents and all those kinds of things to hopefully go and grab a guard if that's what we need, if that's what we're missing, or a defensive tackle if that's what we're missing. There's going to be plenty going into next offseason. And I mean, it gives us a real chance to go and do that. So Kwesi had to, I mean, he was playing chess out here with that. The one thing, actually, I don't know exactly because we haven't talked about it. We haven't been on here to talk about it since it happened, but the whole thing with getting Shaquille Griffin and how that's going to ruin our third round comp pick. But I heard some people coming out and saying that it actually isn't true. I don't know if it wasn't that.
Like they were saying that it wasn't him that put over the edge. They were only expecting to get one anyway. So that's why they just said, well, screw it. It's not gonna like we're already not getting our second one. So we might as well just make the signing, bring him in. We'll still get one. It's not going to affect that. Like basically, yeah, it's not like they were never expecting two. So they just figured might as well just bring in another solid veteran corner who's played well. So
yeah, I mean, that's obviously a very bad move
to begin with. Personally,
very bad move in my opinion. If we picked him up and it ruined us from a third comp, because you're not.
I think the whole thing was all overblown.
You traded a third round. They traded a third or Tennessee. Was it Tennessee traded a third round pick for freaking what's his name from Kansas City? Snead. Right? Or yeah. Yep. And so third round pick for Shaquille Griffin, who you probably could trade a seventh rounder for him. So
and this is one thing I will agree with here. Like I know they had a shot for the playoffs, and Daniil was one of the players that said, "Oh yeah, we kind of like what we got going here. Don't trade anybody. Let's just ride this thing out, see if we can make a run." But yeah, they probably should have at least gotten something for Daniil last year at the trade deadline. But I mean, even
getting a third, letting him walk and getting a third comp pick would have been fine for the situation. Though, yeah, I mean, we probably could have gotten something else out of him prior, but
again, I mean,
I would say the Danielle Hunter thing. But it's hard because you are trying to. It is with Kwesi. It wasn't a time to try to give Kirk Cousins one last time. I really do think. I think Kwesi and KOC believed in Kirk Cousins and the team that they had, though I do think Kwesi's intentions were always the idea of what is going on right now with getting a quarterback on a rookie contract and all these kinds of things. So I guess you're really just trying to give it one more shot, and then, it didn't work out in their favor, and they had to make a different move here. And I think they have, I mean, if JJ McCarthy works out, obviously it was the right move, but of course there's that chance that he doesn't, and then it doesn't. But at the very least, Kwesi took his shot, and that's what you got to do. He went and took his shot. Didn't move up to the third pick for Drake May, who is probably going to be the bust of this draft already.
Poor guy, because his team sucks.
Team sucks. He probably he could have been. He's someone that probably should have. It's going to have the way. I think people already say that they think Brissett is like easily the favorite right now. So everything out of it, I mean, one practice, but everything out of there is just sounding like it's going to be kind of, Drake May is going to be kind of sitting behind for a while.
Project type,
Which wasn't supposed to be in parts of this offseason until, well, I would say prior to the actual people looking into him in this offseason. Like, nobody was really acting that way about him. That's why I was really surprised when I went and looked at him. I was expecting to see some polished quarterback. And, I've mentioned it on here a bunch of times that I didn't like when I watch him. I was like, he doesn't seem like a guy who's going to be ready week 1.
Well, but that's the thing. Like, nobody was really talking about that. They just said he has the Justin Herbert like intangibles, where he's tall with a big arm and he's mobile. But
yeah,
that's the same thing with Herbert. Herbert, they thought needed work too, which is why he's wasn't picked top 3. So
yeah,
it is what it is. We'll see. But again, he's going to a team that sucks, unfortunately for him.
Giving away that Justin. God, it's gonna be a pain in the ass all year. The JJ McCarthy rookie card, Michigan. Bowman's first rookie card. Get the hashtag Skols in the comments. Like the video. Subscribe if you haven't already. All that good stuff. We'll give away that at the end of the show. Yeah, I mean, anything else that you got from minicamp? I mean, we already kind of talked about JJ McCarthy and
Dallas Turner looks athletic.
Yeah, Dallas Turner looks like he's going to be a monster, even though he's just hitting pads.
Kind of a fan, becoming a fan favorite.
Yep. I think Kyrie Jackson's going to be a stud, dude. It sucks that he's 25 years old. That's the only crappy thing.
Who cares? He has.
I mean, as long as he comes in and it's good.
Years of solid, good football. Who cares if he's 25 years old? It's not like it's going to make him. It's not like it's right now. It does not hurt him right now or for the next 2 or 3 years.
Well, it just depends. It would just depend on how quickly can he, become good in this league, right? So if he comes in right away and he's like a really good rookie or whatever, then great. But obviously he doesn't have that 2 to 3 window of kind of progressing. I guess he technically could, but I mean, 3 years he'll be 28 years old.
Yeah.
But hopefully not. I mean, if he comes in and he looks pretty solid right off the gate and helps our defense, I mean, that's a steal of a trade to me. Hey, what's going on, Russell? If they didn't even get a 7th round popcorn fart for Hunter. I know, bro. We could have too. Shaquille Griffin better step the fuck up this year. That's all I'm saying. He better step the fuck up. They would have gotten over Hunter leaving, and they got zero compensation for it. Over.
It is what it is. Past mistakes. I don't know. I think what he did in the draft completely makes up for it for me. So sure, we got rid of some mid-round picks that people seem to be upset about. Mainly the people that are upset about it, the people that already don't like Kwesi anyway, and just want to find more reasons to not like him. It is what it is. He's doing anti-Spielman things, and it's okay. At least we're trying something different.
Players, would you want to play for a GM that gave up on the team?
I mean, and that was the other, that was part of it. With the shot that the fact that they still had a chance to make playoffs is the reason why he didn't trade anybody. So you get it to an extent. Like looking back, you should have just pulled the trigger and traded him. But at the time, when you're sitting there thinking like, hey, we still have a shot at this thing.
Well, it's just like the Jarod Goff situation. I mean, the same thing could happen with us. I mean, if in the next 5 years, let's say JJ McCarthy doesn't work out, but we still have, I know Too Evil ain't going to like this, but we still have we have a good core of players around there, similar to what you saw, similar to 2017 Vikings. And it could be a situation where you just feel like you need to instead of drafting another quarterback, you give yourself a couple of years by going and grab one. Obviously, we've seen it with Matthew Stafford and the Rams. It's possible. I think your best bet to try to win a Super Bowl is to get a quarterback on a rookie contract and get stars around him and things like that. But sometimes if you have everything there and you go and get yourself a franchise quarterback, like you've seen with the Rams, like you've seen with Peyton Manning and the Broncos and things like that, I don't think it's as likely. It's kind of like you just feel like you're swinging for the fences on 1 year, but
yeah. Well, and if you're going to do that, you need to know you have your coach, you have your Super Bowl caliber coach, and you have a Super Bowl talented roster around him. You just need that quarterback to come in and do kind of exactly what you said, be that guy.
I don't think we got anything. Any of them.
We didn't, because Kendricks was straight up cut. His contract wasn't up. It was cut because of the void years.
Oh yeah.
Thielen was the same, and Cook was also the same, and they didn't sign anywhere for big money. Well, Thielen signed some.
We should. I thought we were supposed. So are all the comp stuff figured out already? Or was it just third round?
Well, no. I don't think they haven't announced it yet. But there's some sort of formula. There's a formula about what leaves and what comes in based on the money they make.
Right.
So basically, but that's what people are saying. they said the Vikings never expected 2 compensatory picks. They always figured we were just going to get 1. So that's why they kept spending money. So like, well, we're out of the running for 2 anyway. We know we're going to get the 1 because of Kirk leaving, so we might as well just bring in players we can be competitive.
Yeah.
I don't know. It is what it is. Speaking of defensive back, though, and people making some big money, Minnesota's own, or not Minnesota's own, but Minnesota Gophers' own, Antoine Winfield got paid today, I saw.
Yeah.
4 years, $84.1 million.
The highest, I believe, is the highest paid defensive back of all time. The first time a safety has ever been that player. That's crazy. The first time a safety has ever been the highest paid defensive back. I think I saw.
It's the first. It's the first time in modern NFL history that a safety has set this mark. Well deserved.
But it probably is a good idea that we weren't the ones to make.
Yeah, it's a lot of money. That's a lot of money
for a safety, honestly. I mean, he's a stud.
I mean, we gave Harrison Smith at the time.
Yeah,
probably apples to apples.
Which I would. Yeah, true. Which I would have again if he was in that same,
Oh, for sure.
Same age or whatever. Because he's a stud. I mean, especially when you're one of those players, a good safety like that, and you can just play all over the field. You can disguise blitzing and just everything. And that's what's so good about Harrison Smith. And I'm sure that's kind of what it is with Antoine Winfield. So, hey, good for him. But I kind of like what we're doing. I really do like this whole thing with JJ McCarthy. And regardless if he ends up starting or not, week 1, or if he comes in, I'm hoping I think we all hope that at some point it's just too hard to keep him off the field type of situation. And we see him on at some point during the season, but it is good to know, like, hey, he's going to have 1 year, no matter what, to just try to learn as much as he can. And I think after this first year, I think that's when the window really kind of starts, and you go into the offseason with a bunch of money, and you can really try to make this team as best as you can for the next handful of years of that rookie contract. And It's going to be our best chance to try to win a Super Bowl, I think. But JJ McCarthy's going to be that guy. If anyone's going to be that guy,
he's got to hit.
He's a winner, man. He's a winner.
The way the Lions are doing is like, we know we have the core players and quarterback to win now, so we just got to sign them all and draft well. Where we pivoted to we're going to build a team around this guy and just hope that I guess not hope because they're confident in it, but hope that we brought in the right quarterback to run this system and potentially bring us to a Super Bowl. So it's two varying ways of thinking. We just got out of trying the Lions way, where basically you pay your quarterback and a couple big time pieces and hope you can draft and fill in the rest. Which is why Spielman, I think, wanted so many draft picks, which because like we're paying all these guys, we need to hit on young, cheap guys. We have to get as many people here as possible and hope we hit. We tried that, didn't work. Now we're pivoting to the other way, which is the Chiefs way. Build a team around him, draft your quarterback, hope that he hits instantly, win your Super Bowl,
or at least within a year. That's the thing. Like it's going to be kind of like he has a year. You're going to give him that first year. No one's going to really care unless he looks completely awful. But kind of give him a first year to just like what happened with Patrick Mahomes. He didn't even see the field for the first year. And then after that, I mean, your expectations start to come up, especially since we ended up drafting him at number 10 instead of trading it up for him, because there would have been a lot more pressure if that was the case. But now I feel like we don't have, hopefully he just goes and takes that job, but we don't have to worry about that as much. And I think we're sitting pretty going into specifically 2025. Honestly, this is just going to be a fun year no matter what. I don't think we're going to be a bad team. I don't think anybody's going to be really asking for us to tank anymore. We don't really have to tank. So it's like if JJ McCarthy comes in, the best the team does, the more optimal it is for us moving forward. I mean, that'd be awesome if JJ McCarthy came in and we still snuck in the playoffs, especially his rookie year. Which isn't impossible because we have so much talent on this team, regardless of how he does as quarterback.
Yeah. So I don't know. They're in a good spot. I'm happy with it. I'm happy with it, with the way everything is going. And it's about to get real quiet for a while, though, which is kind of unfortunate, but it is what it is.
Well, at least we got a couple things. Obviously, the mini camp thing, for whatever reason, one practice. I don't know what's going on with that. At least that's all we've seen from OTAs. That's at the end of this week, right? Voluntary OTAs.
Yep, I think the rest of the group the rest of the team gets in this week.
So we'll be able to see some of him. We'll see some Sam Bradford, Sam Bradford. That's so freaking Sam Darnold. We'll see some Sam Darnold in there, and kind of, I mean, we'll hear some good stuff out of camp. Maybe you'll see like JJ McCarthy is really showing a lot. Maybe Sam Darnold isn't, or maybe the opposite. Maybe you see them both do well. That's going to be fun though. So OTAs is always fun. I mean, that's like the best part of this. Even like the little things like OTAs, voluntary OTAs, it's just going to be extra exciting this year because you have a rookie, top 10 rookie quarterback. So no matter what, it's going to be more exciting offseason than before. Like right now, I can't wait until training camp. I can't wait until training camp to really see these guys. And even especially you have Dallas Turner on that other side. It's exciting. And then, of course, I think Too Evil and Gary were mentioning it earlier. We got the schedule releasing, which will be live on Wednesday on the Skol Experience with Dave on his channel, I believe, right?
Yeah.
And we're going to talk about that. We'll be live during when they release the
Yeah, I think Dave messaged us before saying he wants to start at 6:45 because schedule drops at 7.
I thought it should stop that. Yeah, it's dropped at 7. What time do we usually start? No, it drops at
30. Don't we?
6:30, yeah.
He said something about, he texted something about 6:45.
Oh, okay. Oh, I have to look at that. But yeah, so that's a big one. One, because we can, I mean, everyone can kind of make their predictions. But the big one for everybody in this chat and us is obviously when is and who is it going to be against is Skol Fest this year. And hopefully, I mean, I know there was people saying that they think that it's going to be Falcons and the Vikings at home to go see Kirk. That I feel like they're going to have to make that a home game for sure. You have to make it a home game.
Well, no, it already is a home game.
Oh yeah, because it's already, that's the ways in home's already been. That's right, because that's why. Yeah. And that came out already, and we play Houston, in England this year too. But
is it?
Yeah.
It's Houston. Yep. Okay.
Yeah, we play Houston in England. Oh. So
I did not see that. And
is it too early to say?
And I can't wait to see when the Tennessee game is, because I might be planning a little Nashville trip that weekend, which would culminate in going to the Vikings-Titans game on that Sunday. And I get to watch my second favorite quarterback, Will Levis, chuck the football around. So it'd
be Casey's going to be over there rooting for Will Levis. Y'all hear that?
I am a Will Levis guy.
Casey has to be. He's got to be a Drake May guy too, because that was his quarterback. Will Levis was his quarterback in that first one, and Drake May was his quarterback.
They will all pale in comparison
to JJ McCarthy. I know some of you guys saw our JJ McCarthy video that we pushed out last Friday.
2,000 people saw it. We know that.
Hey, that was a solid one for us. Hey, what up, Vikings, Jerome? That was a solid one. We're putting work into these videos, guys. So I'm hoping you guys like what we're doing here. We got a lot of work to do to really figure out how we want to do this moving forward, but we're trying to make some cool content that you don't really see from other podcasters and stuff, and sports in general, not just Vikings, but in general. We're kind of doing something a little bit different here with all that, but even on there, it was kind of cool to dig into that and kind of see, because that was the main thing with that video. We really wanted to get across, obviously, that JJ McCarthy is a winner, and obviously we exaggerated in parts, but that was a cool thing about looking into him is, man, everything everybody says about him and just winning and his mentality, and it's crazy to hear all these people say that about a player who's 21 years old. And just hopefully, I think he'll bring that mindset for sure. But that's only part of the battle. You have to be good at being a quarterback too. But you just feel like that mentality's there at least. It's just nice.
Absolutely. I guess Vikings related. What else? What else you got?
Vikings related. What else has everybody else got in the chat? What else is going on in the world of Vikings? There ain't much going on at this time of year. I was hoping that we'd get more highlights. I've already mentioned it. He just wants to win a ring, 100%. And that's all we asked for. And he has all the time. Like, worst case scenario, it feels like the worst case scenario for him is he ends up being that game manager that I know none of us want him to be, but at the very least, again, rookie contract, can pay people around him, and it wouldn't be the first time more of a game management type quarterback has made it or won a Super Bowl. So
yeah. Well, in my mind, I think that I honestly think worst case scenario, if he's forced into a starting role this year, I think he could at the very least run the offense. Like he's not going to, like I said, not going to be making any checks to the line. He's not going to be
unless
making
he
any
is
game breaking. No, I'm just saying worst case scenario. If it all comes down to where he's not, where they feel like he's not ready to fully take over the offense, he can at least come in, run the play that's called, and just be an efficient game managing quarterback while you develop and learn the playbook completely. So to me, that's like worst case scenario. If he's forced into starting action this year, I think he's going to be. He's not going to suck. Is what I'm trying to get.
Yeah, I can imagine.
At least run the offense efficiently.
Yeah.
Which again, and if Kevin O'Connell's plan is you don't want him to get in until he can fully run your offense, then it's a different story. But if he's forced into action, I think he'll be fine.
Well, that's going to be the interesting thing because if he can hand off great. Hey, look, good thing we have Aaron Jones. Gary, where is Skol Fest going to be? I'm sure it's Minneapolis somewhere, but I don't know what the exact place is going to be. I don't think it's going to be at the same place as last year. But for sure Minneapolis, for sure. But as soon as Wednesday, I think we can all start being like, all right, we're going to figure out what's going to be the game plan this year. So I think all of us are really excited and are kind of ready to get that figured out. So JJ Cutler is an expert handoffer. What was I going to say about JJ though was,
hey, what's going on, Rap?
Hey, what up, Vocal Viking in the building? That's going to be the interesting thing to see with Kevin O'Connell though. So let's say you feel like you just have to bring JJ and maybe you think it's a little early. Do you think he goes more towards like an offense that's a little bit safe, I guess you'd say?
Yes, but also I think it'd be to the point where it's like he's not like he'll just call the play.
Let's go.
Right? And then maybe like if they get to the point where you can see how they line up before that the headset timer runs down, maybe then he'd call a new. Like I don't think he's not going to put him out there to be like, okay, the offense all on you. If you see something you want to change the play to, go ahead and do it. It's going to be him. It's going to be Kevin O'Connell dictating the plays that they're running.
Well, yeah, but I mean more like
be safer. I don't think it's going to be.
But I mean like opening up because that's going to be that's a big thing. That's a big thing. Like, is it going to be
like he's not going to be taking
more
like
run plays? You're going to see.
I think it's going to be more runs and probably quicker. Like I don't think he's going to be like what Kevin O'Connell liked to do last year with Jaron Hall, which wasn't good, and even with Mullins, where it's like 5 to 7 step drops which
Mullins has to kind of play like that, but
right, exactly. But I think he will find I think he's going to have some plays in the book to where if like okay, McCarthy's coming in here, and he's not ready to fully take over.
If he's not ready to fully take over,
then I got to have some plays in here that he can run. So
yeah, but obviously, best case scenario, even if it's not week 1. Like, even if it's week 3, halfway through the season, when they're ready to bring JJ McCarthy in and they just let him, obviously, I think, as far as changing the plays and things like that, I think it takes a while for a lot of quarterbacks to do things like that.
For sure.
But for him to come in and just to jump right into KOC offense would be awesome to see. And hopefully, I'm hoping that's why preseason, that's why I'm like, I know Goodell and those guys upstairs they do not like the idea of having preseason and things like that, which I get to some extent, but like then you don't get to see any of the rookies play. And that's what I really like about preseason, because preseason this year is going to be almost more exciting than the regular season, unless, JJ McCarthy is actually going to be playing and to start the regular season. So
yeah, for sure.
Hey, Skol Mafia, what up? What up? So we'll see what happens. Hey, again, everybody, giving away the JJ McCarthy Bowman First rookie card. Michigan Vikings. The Vikings JJ McCarthy cards are not out yet. They probably will not be out until probably almost at the start of the season, I'm guessing. Maybe some of them will be out, but when they are out, I'll definitely get them. But for now, we got the Michigan JJ McCarthy. Get your hashtag Skols in the comments, like the video, and subscribe if you have not already. So we were going to say, so we talked about the Vikings, not a lot going on. So we're going to end this. I know, a lot of you guys might just be here for the Vikes, but for Minnesota sports teams in general, we're going to talk a little bit of the Minnesota Timberwolves here. and just
Woof.
what the hell? What the hell is happening in these first 2 games?
Well,
How are we feeling right now?
I
as
saw
far as the Timberwolves
comment earlier about JJ Cousins. I was all over Cat Cousins last night because he disappeared big time. He had been solid throughout the playoffs. He stepped into that number 2 role, but yesterday he absolutely just completely fell apart. Like what he started off 0 of 10. They were. I mean, that's the thing with Towns. You either get a smaller guy or a guy that's really physical on him because when he's out in the post, he can't handle that. He needs to be a guy that kind of gets in his space. He's got to start hitting some threes to add that element to his game. They played deep. They played defense on him incredibly well, and it totally took us out of our element. The only player that was solid was Ant. Obviously, had an amazing game. He had no other help from anybody. Nas had a meh type game. Nah had an awful game.
Yeah.
Kyle Anderson can play defense a little bit, but outside of that, he's a complete liability. The most disappointing, and Charles Barkley, a lot of times he talks, and I'm just like, what the hell is this guy talking about? But he was 100% right at halftime, where he just said, when Towns is too inconsistent, when he's there, they're great. When he's not playing well, they fade because he's their number 2 guy, and he did not.
No. And he started looking a little bit better in the second half. I do want to answer this real quick. Viking Drum, you think sooner? It's funny. We were actually talking about this earlier. I would say my money is on one of them making the team. One of them makes the team. Rudy is the most. So I don't feel that way about Rudy. I think the reality is Rudy is not a good match against Jokic.
No,
because he dominated. He dominated in the Suns series on defense. It's just
Jokic is too athletic. He can do it.
Jokic is too athletic, has too many moves. He can put him down. That's just the reality of it. And Jokic is the best player in the entire world until Anthony Edwards takes it eventually, of course. But right now, Jokic is the best player in the entire world. Even if you're the best defensive player, Rudy is not a good match for him. And it is what it is. But I'm taking Rudy against any other team. The only other guy that I'm worried about that he's not a good match against is Embiid as well. Those are like the 2 players. So unless you're playing those 2 teams, I think Rudy is a defense player year.
Yeah. Well, and those 2 are the 2 defending or the last 2 MVPs, right? Embiid and Jokic.
No, well, Jokic is maybe Embiid, but Jokic this is the 3rd MVP in a row.
Yeah, well, I know. Yeah, but
you mean just like
Embiid won it the year before. So
right. I believe so. Right? He was very close, if not, and he's always in the conversation every year.
But then another thing is like how many times did they kill us on Jokic gets the ball, backs down into the post, we send help, and he just tosses it over his head to Murray or to Aaron Gordon. Aaron Gordon, by the way, shooting like what 11, 12, and however many how many three? I believe someone said he was like a 20-something% 3-point shooter in the regular
29.
season. 29, and he's just like
he's hitting like 80% during this series.
Well, and like there were some times yesterday where it's like that's the best defense you can play on Murray and Gordon and even Jokic, but they're scoring. It's one of those things you almost just have to after that, just like after they score, just be like, nice, good work. Like, what can you do?
What can you do? And Murray, even though he should have been suspended on game 3, but dude he cannot miss. And that was the most heartbreaking thing I felt all year was him hitting after we brought the lead down to 6.
Yeah.
We get the ball, Ant loses the ball. They come down, score. We throw the pass with 1-point-something seconds left, and he hits half court. Man, that was killer. That was killer. And that's the thing is with this, but we just need to talk about Anthony Edwards though, because even with all that going on, Anthony Edwards ends up playing 48 minutes, I believe, in this game and ends the game with +5. There was -13 when he was off the court in 2.5 minutes, which is insane. But him getting 43, I think it was 43 points. Man, just going every. And that's the thing with this team, and why I think. Hey, what up, De Niro Jones?
That is 100% a true statement.
I always disappointed when they have. I know. That's how I know. But Ant's different though. Ant's different. It does feel like if anyone's going to be trying to change this whole thing, like Ant is doing his absolute best to make that happen. In this game, like you can blame, obviously you should blame stuff on Cat because he is the second best player, but it wasn't just him. It was like everybody else besides Ant. It was like nobody, not one person stepped up. Mike Conley was kind of at the end there, Mike Conley a little bit, but no one else stepped up for this team at all and was scoring at all. But you got to just feel good with that Ant's bringing what he did to the table there, because all you need is one other player on this team to not suck offensively. And you feel like we can go back to Denver and beat the Nuggets again and ultimately win this series.
Right. Well, I mean, if Towns starts off average last night, we're right in that game. We lost by 8. Like, that's just the reality of it. If like you said, if one other player was solid, or if Nas had a good game. I mean, again, Nas, like, people,
he's solid game, but he's
solid. But you look at what Nas does in his big games, like, it's not good enough. And Alexander Walker was a disappointment as well. He hasn't played well the last couple games.
Right.
And he's another big element. Like,
specifically offensively. But he's the one that made the pass that got to Murray, who ends up taking that shot. Even though how's Murray is just making everything. That's the reality of this. But moving forward is just, they're not going to, especially Aaron Gordon. He is not going to be keeping this up this significantly, because if they weren't shooting absolutely lights out in game 3, they probably beat us anyways. But the way Ant was playing, they needed to shoot like that to end up winning the way they did. Because what did they have?
There is a solution out there. Go down the street to Target Field, get the rally sausage, take it with you to Denver.
The rally sausage?
Have you not heard of that?
No.
Yeah, the Twins in their dugout, they have a summer sausage that they've had since they started their winning streak.
Oh, okay.
Every time they hit a home run, they throw it to the guy that hit the home run. It looks disgusting.
I did not know. What's going on, Gary?
Absolutely freaking nasty.
Dude,
but since they brought it into the dugout, hopefully
they do that.
17-2 or something like that.
Yep. Hey, you gotta love with Ant, though. You gotta just love how he handles the press conferences. Even yesterday, I was really wondering, like, okay, like, after game 3, you blamed everything on yourself, right? So you blame everything on yourself. Fair. He didn't really seem like no one came out with energy, including him in that game. So he blamed it all on himself. So I'm like, okay, you were easily not the problem. Not only were you not the problem, that was one of the best games in your entire career, which says a lot in these playoffs. So I was wondering how he's going to handle this press conference, and I think he did it the best way, which is pretty much saying, like, hey, it's 2-2 right now. Like, he's not really looking at it like, hey, we started off 2-0 and now they're coming back on us. He's looking at it like, hey, this is going to be, we're going to be punching each other this whole time. It's not going to be, we knew we weren't going to come in here and probably just come and sweep these guys. So for him to have that mindset is really nice, because I think he's going to go into Denver and kind of look at it as just a new game and not like, here we go. Because that's how you feel some of these. Well, I don't know. If any Minnesota fan, and I know everybody in here. What's going on, Norris? Hey, Roger, I'm glad to hear that. The worst player on the Wolves is McDaniels, 11 points and only 2 boards. He's killing us on both ends. He's good on defense, bro. He's been an X factor on defense for the most part, though.
He wasn't, that's the thing they were talking about on the radio on my drive home from work. Like, he needs to hit a couple of those corner threes to really cement himself as a good player in these games. And he hasn't been doing that. Which
he did in his, like, every year up until this year, he was like,
that was his spot.
That was his spot. So it sucks. It sucks that, I don't know if it has anything to do with his broken hand from last year or whatever happened there, but man, if he hits those threes, that's like all we need. We needed someone on this team to be able to do that. Even earlier, and he wasn't. He was missing everything bad yesterday.
Well, and like, I think one of my other gripes, and this has kind of been a thing for a while, is we just don't. We have no way to get down inside. Like the thing with Jokic is he can get down there, but he can also turn around and do a pull up jumper. Where Rudy ain't doing that. Rudy needs to be at the rim, right? Like, we don't, and like, Towns is kind of sometimes too soft to get down in there, and like, they defend him well. They get 2 guys on him. He gets wild because that's what Towns does. He gets out of control. Gets an offensive foul, goes the other way. Like, we have no interior presence on offense. Like, it's just, we pass around the perimeter. Maybe we get inside with when Nas is on, but like last night there was way too much of just pass the ball out, take a bad shot. Like, we just don't, other than Ant and then Nas, pretty much we don't have any like interior offense.
Yeah, and
don't get any easy.
That's the thing with Cat.
Nobody can create their own shots outside of Ant.
And Cat used to be able to do that a little bit, but I know he lost some LBs ever since he moved to the power forward.
Well, and they just know how to defend him. They know how to get into his head, basically. So
dude, they're just a good team, man. That team is the best team basketball you'll see in the NBA, and mostly because of Jokic, right? I mean, the guy's, you're not gonna move him. This dude's a fucking huge.
Yeah.
He's
a
7-foot dude.
You don't want to blame it on officiating, but
yeah, I know this is a great.
It has been a little bit like Sarah said, like game 2, they were allowing everything. Game 3, they're calling little ticky tack fouls.
They're only allowing everything because it was the Nuggets and not us. Hey, yeah. I mean, every team's gonna be saying like, hey, we get the calls or stuff, but ever since Anthony Edwards took that tech in game 1. Took the tech in game 1 for staring at what's his name? I can't think of his name right now. Point guard for the Nuggets, but
Jackson.
Yeah, with Jackson, Reggie Jackson. Ever since, right? Yeah, Reggie Jackson. But ever since that happened, and he got that technical, and then the next game, their ref comes on the court screaming in the ref's face, easiest tech I've ever seen in my life. Doesn't get it. Jamal Murray throws the heat pad on the court. Doesn't get a tech there, only gets $100,000 fine, no suspension, which was the same, and ended the money sign in the same game.
Rudy did that again last night.
He did it again last night. Yeah, there's no way. He knew he had one. He knew he had a free money sign in the bag for this one. And it does feel that way. It feels like Jokic doesn't get any calls. I mean, he uses his arms to push off players constantly in the paint, and no calls ever. You never see any calls on Jokic ever. And Rudy's getting called every single time. So I don't know. It's probably us biased team, whatever. But overall, you do feel like there's no question they've been, just because the whole heat pad thing and the coach run, those two things by itself is like, what's going on here? They don't get nothing. And I feel like we just pretty much depend on everything.
I hate the argument of like Murray shouldn't even play in game 3. It's like, yeah, but you shouldn't have to hope that a guy does it. You want to beat the teams when they're at their best, right? So I don't know. I didn't like that. Everybody like, well, Murray shouldn't be playing today anyway. It's like,
not me.
You don't.
Hey, you throw a heat pack under Cat's foot. And
regular season, he's suspended. Playoffs, no. I think it was the right call to not suspend him, fine him, let him play. Because I'm taking that
like, well, anyway,
he shouldn't, like we could have beat them if he wasn't playing. It's like you should be able to beat him at full strength if you want to go all the way. Who cares?
Well, we just need some. That's a whole problem. Like, we just need more scoring off the bench. I mean, obviously you have when Nas and Na are doing really well, but they're not really supposed to be here just for scoring. Like I know we went and got, like we were talking about this at the trade deadline. We went and got Monte Morris, which we're not really seeing much of him. Honestly, I'd probably rather see him out there than keep giving Slow-Mo so many minutes, because Slow-Mo is not doing enough in this series. He's not. His defense isn't really working well right now, and he just does nothing for us on offense at all. So at least with Monte Morris, you have another guy that will always make smart decisions when he has the ball and can make threes, even though he hasn't his limited time. He has not impressed himself either. But that's why I was like, if we were hoping we were going to get a guy that can kind of create his own shots, because that's something even with Na, he does a little bit, but he's not a guy that's really creating his own shots out here. And that's kind of what we're missing on the bench. And that's something we just never filled in, which it shouldn't really come down to that. But when nobody's playing well, and when Ant's out for 2.5 minutes and they end up scoring 13 points on us in that time frame, like, I don't know, you're just going to have to put him out there nonstop for the entire game or something.
Yeah. I don't know, frustrating, but again, as they've said, series isn't over. They just have to get back. I mean, look, you beat them by 30. Like you didn't expect that to happen again. Like I think every game from here on out, it's going to be tightly contested. People need to step up. And honestly, like I bet you anything, Ant at practice is going to be getting on them.
I wouldn't doubt if he called every. I wouldn't doubt. I heard Nas Reed was on someone's podcast. I think it was JJ Redick's podcast actually, and he was talking about, like, I think after one of the games, Ant was like called everybody and was like, "Hey, we should all get back into the gym or whatever tonight." Just things like that. And I would not be surprised if Ant was like, "All right, guys," like, because obviously we see how he is in front of camera. He always says the right thing, but behind closed doors, obviously you don't want to punk your teammates on camera, and that's what makes Ant special as a leader. But when the camera's off behind closed doors, you gotta keep your team accountable.
Absolutely.
And ask like, what the hell? Plus, again, Cat started the game with 2 fouls. Ended up, he ended up not being super bad into that. But I don't know. It's just Ant's got to be really annoyed to have a game like that.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
For them
like something else, something like. Yeah, something ain't working with the rest of the team. They got to figure out. They got to get back to doing what they were doing games 1 and 2.
That's true, Sarah. That's the thing is like,
well, I mean, technically, I mean, being fined $100,000 isn't a reward. It's a punishment.
And that's pretty weak when you make $30 million a year.
No, like I think he should like the fine definitely should have been a little bit more than 100,000. Like it should have been probably 150.
No, should have been.
I would say 50. I would say 50
for the rest of the series.
I would say 50 for the money sign and $100,000 for throwing the heat pad.
Hey, let's go, Skol Mafia. Wednesday we find out Skol Fest. Let's go.
Could you imagine if it's Falcons at home on like a Sunday night football game or something like that?
Yo, Gary Olsen, Skol. Yeah, that'd be so crazy. Yo, Gary. So starting last year, so this will be our second year. Us and a bunch of content creators and pretty much a majority of the people in our chat here with our boy Gary, Skol Mafia, who all went in here that's in the chat. Sarah popped in. I don't know if anyone else was there who's in here right now. I know a couple other people in here are definitely going this year, but we throw on a big gathering party type of situation that we get all of us together and just, have beers, fun, talk about how we're going to beat Kirk Cousins. This year, hopefully, that's what we're hoping for. But we do this on the first week, the home opener for the Vikings. And that's what we're kind of waiting for the schedule to come out. So as soon as that comes out, we're going to plan where it's going to be at and get everything together. And, we get people flying around. We get like what? I don't live in Minnesota, so I had to fly there. Rap had to fly there. Skol Mafia had to fly there from Rochester, New York. I mean, we had people flying in there, and I think our goal to as just our a community, our community, everybody knows what our community is. Just to keep making it better every year and just see, I mean, hey, who knows how big can we all get this thing, Just keep doing it. Skol Fest every year. I mean, in 10 years, who knows what that shit's going to be looking like. I don't know. Last year was a great time. So anybody in here is definitely invited. But we'll get more details as soon as that schedule comes out, man. So it's going to be exciting.
For sure.
So anything else on the Timberwolves or the /Vikings? Obviously, I saw people talking about just being excited. Sounds like you're going to have to go. Yeah, dude. FT Maddie, man. Dude, 100% go do it. I was expecting it to go well, but it was better than I expected just because everybody in here is cool as shit. Like, that's what's cool about all this stuff. Like, everybody is here. Like, you just talk, obviously, over the internet. But when you meet everyone together and it's just like, oh, damn, you actually are cool as shit in real life.
Well, most people.
Most people.
I'll leave it up to you to find out who aren't the cool ones.
I'm like, which ones weren't cool? I'm like, was there any not cool ones there?
Leave it up to them to decide.
Yeah, I guess it is up. I mean, it's a preference thing, I guess.
I'll post it to my
Facebook page. Hey, let's go. I'll post, dude. Let's go. Yeah, let's blow this thing up. Like, we're gonna do. I mean, this year I really want to push the hashtag SkolFest on Twitter and everything, and just really push it. I think on the day, just keep pushing it, and we're just gonna keep doing it. We're gonna blow that shit up every year. Both Jamie and Casey are only 3 feet tall. I mean, I'm closer to 3 feet. I think
people thought I was short. People thought I was shorter than you.
Yeah, I know. So people thought Casey was shorter than me, which I don't know why. I don't know reason why. But I'm like 5'9". Casey, I wasn't the shortest one. I'm gonna say that out loud. But Casey's like, I mean, you're like 6'1"?
Yeah, on a good day.
So, on a good day, but. Damn, Casey, did I make a bad impression? Damn, Casey, did I make a... He was talking about Skol Mafia.
No,
but I can't think of a single person.
I was kidding.
There wasn't a single person there that was... Right? I can't think of a single person there that was like a problem or something. No. You probably wouldn't go if that was going to be the case, but... No. I'm here to get blamed for whatever. Packer sucks, Steve. No, I'm just kidding. Oh, I mean... I'm not a fan. I don't like the Packers, but I like you, Steve. You're my favorite Packer fan for sure. Hey, what up, Adam? Welcome in. Welcome in. Talking about Skol Fest. Adam, are you going to Skol? I know you're going to Skol Fest this year. That's crazy that you didn't go last year. Gary, Adam's going, right? There's no way. There's no way. What are all rooting for? We're hoping. Yeah, let's go. We are hoping Falcons and Vikings, right? That's what we want. Home opener, Falcon Vikings. Obviously, Packers. Hey, Steve, if we play the Packers, swing by, my man. Swing by. Adam better be. Yeah, dude, he's going to be there. He's going to be there. Skol Fest 2, baby. It's going to be twice as good as Skol Fest 1. It's going to be hard to beat, though. No, it was great. It was great. I can't wait for that. So schedule release Wednesday. We're going to be live on here. Actually, we'll be on Dave's channel, but Skol Experience will be live as soon as the schedule drops. So we'll be able to, we'll be able to kind of dive right in as soon as that goes. So it'll be kind of cool, like being live. We'll be live and we'll be able to see when Skol Fest will be and who we're going to play. That's going to be exciting. I'm excited for that. Yeah, Skol Mafia. Let's go. Yeah, Skol Mafia. He turned it up at the end there. That was fucking sweet, too. Ended up doing the giveaway. I think Skol for Life ended up getting the ticket. I know we'll have to see what our plan is as far as giveaways and stuff this year. Hey, what up, Nighttime? Hey, again, everybody in here. We're about to give away this JJ McCarthy Bowman first rookie card, obviously on the Michigan jersey. No Vikings ones out yet, but as soon as they are, I'm going to get some. So get the hashtag Skols in the comments, like the video, subscribe to the channel. If you have not already, appreciate it big time, but definitely like the video, all that good stuff. It'll be interesting to see who wins that card. That's the first JJ McCarthy card I'll be giving away JJ McCarthy cards, hopefully, for the next 15 years. And this will be the very first ever on this channel, ever. Maybe even, I don't know if anyone's giving away a JJ McCarthy card in general.
Who knows?
But yeah, definitely get the hashtags going. Hey, what up, Two-Toned? Already won that, right? Norris, I got you another one coming. Yep. Actually, well, technically, Norris won the very first JJ McCarthy card. But yeah, I'll get you both those cards this week. Because you got the Anthony Edwards and the JJ McCarthy cards.
Ooh, that's right.
2 cornerstones of Minnesota sports. Let's go.
Yeah, for sure.
I guess before giving away the card here, any last things on the Wolves? Because what's your prediction? Wolves prediction? How are you seeing? How do you think this is going to go? Do you think it's going to go to Game 7? Do you think we're going to win Game 5? Where are we sitting at here?
God, it's tough. I want to believe. I want to believe that they'll go in tomorrow night. Which, by the way, Buck 9:30 or
10:30 my start time. 10:30 my time.
Come on, let's be real here. Stop doing that bullshit. It's stupid. But I really badly want to say.
What up? I have Skol's
I think they get it done tomorrow. I think they get it done tomorrow. I think.
Let's go.
I think they keep the streak. Basically, I think this series comes down to the next team or whatever team wins the first game at home wins. In my mind, right?
Yeah.
Which basically comes down to the next two. If Denver wins tomorrow night, I think they come into Minnesota Game 6, and I think they find a way to win it.
Ooh.
The first team to win a game at home wins the series. Is my prediction, which is kind of
that would mean we pretty much would have to
win one on the road.
Yeah,
and win one on
the road, and then
win exactly because that's the thing. If we don't win this next one, they win the first home game, which means they win the series because then they're going to be Game 7 at home. That always goes to the home team. So I just think the first team to win a game at home wins it all.
Dude, what an interesting series. Just neither teams can win at home. Right. Especially, us winning it's still more impressive that we went high altitude and beat them in those first 2 games at home, though.
Yeah.
That's crazy. But no, they just need to come out swinging. Ant's going to do his thing. I think he's going to come out looking as good as he's always been, and someone's going to step up in this game. Yep. And hopefully it's Cat. Hopefully Cat comes in here and doesn't have a stinker again.
And so they have to do all of that, and then the Nuggets just have to cool off. And they can't keep shooting this way for, it's eventually they're going to cool off. And I think it happens. I think it happens tomorrow. I think Gordon goes back to having, an average Aaron Gordon game. I don't think he shoots the threes like he has been. I think they come in with a much better defensive plan for the Jokic and Murray combo.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they realize what doubling and tripling them just isn't working. You're gonna have to trust Cat or Nas or Rudy to go one-on-one. You're just gonna and if he scores, I think that Barkley said it last night. If he scores, so what?
At least that's what people say is like
not trapping them and giving them easy open dunks. You're making him at least shoot the basketball. So
yeah, they're like people say like you're like if he has 30 points on the night, like who gives a shit? But if he has 15 assists, you lost the game. And that's what I mean. That's kind of what it's going to have to be like that. Shut down Murray's. Dude, that's what we got to do. And that's the thing is when Murray
you got to frustrate him.
Bro, I mean, some of that defense on him was still so good by McDaniels and Nah. And he just was making the most unbelievable shots. And it's just insane. And same with Aaron Gordon. I mean, there's times Aaron Gordon was just making his shots with someone right in his face. And this is just not going to continue. There's just no way that is going to continue. And if it doesn't, if they don't shoot out of their damn minds, I think the Wolves are going to beat them. Like, I
agree.
But
I'll say, F it. I'll say Wolves in 6. I'll say they win. I'll say they win on the road tomorrow night. Come back to Minnesota. It's going to be rocking. They're going to have a chance to go to the Western Conference Finals. I think they find a way to get it done. I'm taking Wolves in 6. And Twins,
let's go.
Twins, keep it going. Get back in first place in the division on a really nice run here. They have the Yankees, and then they go to the Guardians. It's going to be a couple 6 series. So, yeah, let's Twins keep it going. Wolves start winning. Vikings have JJ McCarthy. The Wild, their hockey team. And then we're all good to go.
The Wild, their hockey team. I know the Wild, they need to figure out what they're doing over there. Don't cry now. Dang, what's going on, everybody in here? Y'all picking on Dave. What's going on, Dave? What's going on with Norse? Norse my guy, dude. Let's give away this card though, the JJ McCarthy.
Oh, they must actually be some trolls because Sarah's axing the comments. I kind of like it. I like it. If we have people, I mean, I saw some of the comments like, yeah, we probably don't need to be saying those things on live streams in the comments. So whoever's doing these clowns are trolls. Okay, sounds good. Keep striking them. Then, Sarah. I like what you're doing.
Not a hockey.
Yeah, me neither. I just can't get into it. I don't know what it is.
I'm not a huge hockey fan. Don't worry, folks. I will find Skol Fest 2.0 and show up in my birthday suit. Hey, dude, I don't care how you show up. Just show up, George. Just show up. All right. Let's give away this card.
Run it.
JJ McCarthy, the first card I've had on actual stream, giving it away on actual stream. Let's see here. Where is it? Right here. Boom. Last chance to get in. We got 18 in here. Like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. If you have not checked out our JJ McCarthy video, you guys should go definitely do that. Give us a like on there. Trying to keep pushing it. Why not? We worked hard on that one, so always trying to push.
Well, before you run that, talk for a couple seconds while I go grab the link and I'll toss it in there.
All right.
We hit 2,000 views on that video today. So
hey, let's go. George and no the pool. No, the pool is cold excuse. Norris is hey. Yeah, y'all should definitely go check out this video if you have not already and press like. We'd appreciate that big time. But let's give away some cards here. Who we got tonight? Who's going to be the good winner? I have to be subscribed. Have to be here to win. That is the main rule here. So let's go. 3, 2, 1. Boom. Who we got tonight? First, JJ McCarthy card. Eventually, we'll have him actually in a Vikings uni. But tonight, it is Gary Olsen.
All right.
Gary Olsen, are you still in here? It wasn't too long ago. Let's go, Gary Olsen.
Going once.
All I know is, man, we got to get JJ's contract figured out. We got to get, everybody already knows this. We got to get that picture done. The whole Kevin Garnett, Randy Moss picture. That needs to get figured out. That's why we need to keep JJ around. And, man, 2 generational talents. Honestly, Anthony Edwards, like, he might be bigger than a generational talent, bro. I don't know what that means. I'm talking.
I mean, he might be face of the league type. Like, not like generational is one thing, but like someone that
face
people really talk about. Like, is this guy the next?
Literally, I'm not even kidding. Like Patrick Mahomes of the NFL right now. Like that's what we're talking. Like face of the league.
It's so strange because like because like last year he was good, right? Like the rise, I think I think we were talking about this and you brought it up. Like the rise really did start at the Olympics last year, or not the Olympics, but the U.S. national team.
Right.
Like like that's literally where all the hype started.
Yeah. And he's just showing it up. He's showing it up. Yeah, the ant is the next Michael Jordan. Hey, I'm rolling with that.
Is Gary here?
I don't think Gary's here. Sorry, Gary.
Again.
I still hope you make it to Skol Fest though, bro. All right, we gotta give for this. We're running it back. Sorry, Gary. Gotta be here to win. That's the one rule. All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1. Who we got? See a lot of names in here. Gotta be here to win. And we've got boom. Steve.
Oh boy, I see him in there.
Dang, Steve
snatching. Fans coming in here and sniping the wins.
Steve, I don't know if Steve's won a card before though. Let's go, Steve. Hey, Steve's always. I know you're a Packer fan, but you're always our guy. Either way, give it to Sarah.
Okay.
Dang, Sarah, are you sure? Absolutely, Sarah. Appreciate you. Yay, let's go. Hey, thanks, Steve. Appreciate it. Packer fans, nope. I don't know. It probably wouldn't have been good if I guarantee you JJ McCarthy's Hall of Famer if that card went to Steve for sure. But he's still going to be a Super Bowl champion without it at the very least. Oh boy, let's convert him. Come on, Steve. You know you want to. All right, Sarah. Hey, Sarah did. I mean, maybe that will create that hot streak. Sarah was like the first hot streak that we've seen on this show, and it's been a while since she's gotten a card. So let's go. Welcome back, Sarah. Welcome back in the winners column here.
Well, anything else?
Nope. Just JJ McCarthy needs to be the face of the NFL as Anthony Edwards is face of the NBA, and the Wolves just got to take care of business. Get past the Nuggets, we win the ship. It's easy as that.
This is a click rig.
Communism. We're communism in here, bro. All right. Yeah. Hey, we thanks everybody come in here.
Yep.
Go Minnesota Sports.
On Minnesota Sports Talk Wednesday night, we'll be live during the release of the schedule. Maybe a little bit of insight into what we're doing with Skol Fest. Who really knows? Be a good time. Make sure you're there. And we'll see you guys Wednesday.
Skol Vikes.